tyre, I think it's feeding. Whoa, pop and pop, did you see that? It seems to be holding pressure. 40 psi seems quite a lot though. Wow, so what I had to do, guys, was, let me just double check that. I had to buy a ratchet strap, this one, ratchet strap it down, and then basically play with it. Let me loosen up the strap. Oh, there you go. Wow, I think this tyre is actually done, guys. My luck is on the rise. Oh, what was that noise? Let me pop off this now, because 40, in fact, let me lower it a touch. 40 seems 40 seems brave, let's be honest. What's that? I think that's 30. That'll do. There you go. Now, I didn't hear any actual pop, but it did appear to seat, didn't it? Oh, look at this. That's interesting. Oh, maybe that's just the last of the I put so much lubricant in. Wow, guys, I think, yes, I think our rear tyre is on. What a result. So, to be clear, what it took was a ratchet strap, but honestly not just a ratchet strap. You had to then kind of play with the tyre and get it seated, keep this on constantly, hear the changing note and know that it was putting in more and more air. I could probably manage it again on a smaller bike like this now using the ratchet strap system, just one like that, but I stand by. I'd rather pay 15 quid and let someone else do it, if I'm being honest. Good news here, great news here for your quick Thursday morning update is that technically this bike should be ready for an MOT on Saturday. Wow. Technically, yes, I think that's right. Okay, what I'll do is I'll get out nice and early Saturday morning. I'll give it a bit of a check over, just make sure it's all okay. In fact, let's do that now. Let me move the car. Let me pull it out. Let's have a little look over it now while I've got half an hour. Okay, so let's give the bike a minute to warm up. Let's let it get to its best. There is a rattle down here that annoys me. I don't think it's inside the engine. It may even be could be in the exhaust. It isn't anything I'm hugely worried about. It sounds like something is loose-ish, but nothing. Again, nothing that I'm worried about. It could even be the rollers actually on this side. Oh, it kind of does sound like rollers. Maybe they're a touch loose. Yeah. Otherwise, the bike kind of runs and rides. Although to be fair, oh, looks like the choke is still unsure as to whether it's on or off. What was I going to say? So, to be fair, I haven't ran this bike. It's not about properly. I haven't run this bike. Is the truth. So that's something I need to do. Why is it revving up? Turn the steering. This is what the MOT guys will do. Any notches, any weirdness, any looseness. Main light. High beam, low beam, high beam, low beam, main light off. I thought that was a kill switch before and not working. Look, it's not. It's a light. Indicator left, both excellent. Indicator right. Come on, right indicator, rear. Don't mess me around, you're brand new. See, this is why you do your pre-MOT checks, guys. I know the switch is working because the rear one is on. That is frustrating. I think it's not going to be a bulb, that might be a wire. If that means I have to take all this crap back off again, that's going to be frustrating, but we'll manage it. It's what we do. So no front right bulb at this stage. Horn, barely, but it's there. Lights are on, so rear light should be on, which it is. Rear light should brake with the front lever, that's this one here. Good. And with the rear lever, that's this one here. Good. We should have a number plate light. Good. And we should have a reflector. There's one there and there's a couple on the side, so that's great. Everything should be just okay, really, which it is. I don't know why this baffle is in there. I bought these a while back to see if I could quiet down Sultan's little exhaust, and we didn't get the chance to put it in. Front shocks and rear shocks will be bounced. Bodywork will be checked. So look here, loose panelling isn't going to help. You need to cable tie that up only until I'm ready to actually fully put on the rest of the body. It's not about cable tying the whole time. So yeah, do you know what would be quite cool right now? If I chuck the helmet on and the helmet cam and we had a quick spin. Let's see if it actually rides, because at the moment, considering it's been serviced, it's a bit jittery to me. It's revving okay. Let me see if I've got the helmet cam and let me see if it's got any battery. Okay, so the GoPro's dead. I'll charge that up and we'll get a run on the weekend, but I'm going to go for a little spin now, ideally, if I can get these legs sorted. Let's have a quick spin. Rides really well, guys. The idle's a touch low on it. I can lift that in seconds, but it brakes, runs, rides. The suspension works. It's doing its job, which is lovely. So yes, I do need to sort this out, don't I? I can't be having a bulb that's not working. I've got a feeling when I nipped it all up that maybe the wire got pulled or something, but there are a lot of bolts and cable ties holding this thing on, so it's a bit frustrating, but also not the end of the world. Okay guys, so I checked the wiring, a bit of a clean of the bulb, and we're back. It was a little bit there, look, bit dodgy on the connector, but these cost like £8 the whole thing, so we can always throw a new one in. I think it will be fine for now anyway. Alright, we're looking okay again. So far everything is MOT worthy, which is great news. Lovely. Okay, so it's a day later. Bike work looks great on this bike. It's a really good looking bike actually. I'm just double checking everything for MOT tomorrow. Tyre pressures, brakes, greases, horn, indicators, body work. I need to nip that up a little bit, put some pressure on it. And then the other thing I want to look at quickly is while it's a bit erratic at idle, basically it's a little bit erratic at idle, so I need to see if there's any extra air getting in or anything. So I'm going to pop this bowl out again, which is easy to do. Just have a look at the connection between the carb and the airbox, make sure it's tight, make sure it's sealed, and so that we're good to go with that one. So I'm going to have a quick look at that now. Okay guys, so this this crank breather that goes back into the airbox hose, that was loose. In fact, that was split. Let me show you. The old one was rock solid. Look. So look, it's meant to be. Oh god, look, it's meant to be pliable. Look at that. So that's a suction hose. So if you ever have any of these kinds of problems, spray around your brake cleaner, see if there's any rise, which I found, and then it was this hose here from the crank breather which goes back into the airbox. So we should have, let me plug in, I unplugged the one moment guys, the choke, the automatic choke, in case that was an issue. Right, that's plugged back in. Let's see if we idle a bit more. So we're just going to wait for the choke to come off. Keep your eye out for all of these vacuum hoses. Oh, that's the air cooled. I wondered where the air was coming from. It's air cooled. As in the air flows around the block. That sounds better to me. I'm going to give it a minute. It shows you a simple problem, guys. It is the hose from there to there, which is the airbox. It's a secondary flow system. What I was getting was erratic revving up and back down because there was extra anytime the wind blew. There it is. Okay, so I might not have solved it. Let's wait a minute and let's see what's going on. Look, I'm not touching anything. There it is. Alright, so there's one problem solved. What's the next? I'm going to pop the actual airbox off, make sure it's fully sealed around the edges, make sure the rest of the hoses are okay. There's no obvious sign of a leak. Of course, here is the actual airflow. Okay, so airbox back off. Check it for leaks. Make sure this is done properly. It's not the end of the world, this little bit of revving, but it should be a touch smoother than that. So Jake popped past briefly, unannounced, and I said to him it's a bit erratic and showed him. And I said to him, I think it's an air leak, and he said, Charlie, clean the carb, mate. And I was like, no, it starts and runs and rides. And he goes, Charlie, clean the carb, set the air fuel screw, do it properly. So annoyingly, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a bit of a clean. I don't expect it to be dirty in here because, like I said, it starts and runs and rides. But sometimes what lazy people do is they undo the screw at the bottom and just let the fluid out. Where is the screw on this to let the fluid out? That's interesting. And then they just drain out the fluid that's in there, and then fire it up again, which means the jets are still clogged. So let me pop this open. I kind of expect it to be clean. That fuel's fairly clean. That fuel dripping now is fairly clean. Interestingly though, why is that fuel dripping now? It had a kind of stopper in it, I guess, that attaches to the bottom of the engine. Anyway, we'll work that out. So seeing the air fuel screw there, which seems quite far out to me, get some WD down there, or ideally penetrating spray before you touch it. Pop the bowl off, see what we're looking at, and we'll try and work it out. Okay guys, it was a bit gummy, but nothing really shocking. I've given it all a clean now. Nothing that really worries me. So let's pop that back on. I think that will be fine. The air fuel screw is the only thing that makes me slightly unsure about. It was out 2 turns and a quarter, which seems about right, but I've put it out 1 turn now, and then I'll set it myself when it's warm. So I'm going to chuck this back on and see if it's any better at all, I guess. So guys, I'm just trying to work out the idle and stuff, but still got that slight rev. You see that? Weird. And it was struggling a little bit with fuel, but it seems alright now. I think all that's going now, which is good. What I'll do is I'll have a play with the air fuel screw, see if I can get something small enough in there, see if we can get that set. It seems quite nice to me now, guys. Little fall. Third, half, four. Seems spot on to me. Right, I'm going to start chucking it back together. Just the bowl now. We needed to do that. Well, I'll go back to this. Once this stuff's smacking in your hand like that, watch. This one's kind of warmed up now, but yeah, look, that's crazy. Then of course it becomes useless. It's not going to do what we need it to do. So that new pipe's much better. The bike seems much happier, guys. Great, when you throw the bowl back on, I'm going to put the side panels back on, and we'll be at the stage where we're kind of nipping this up. Yeah, maybe I'll take it for a quick spin with the head cam. So this is it, guys. This is the absolute final product. I believe it will pass an MOT tomorrow. I have no concerns about that. Starts, runs and rides beautifully. Chrome has shined up so nice. It's got a really interesting seating position. See, with your arms out, but it's not horrible. It's not uncomfortable. It's quite cool actually. It pulls very strong. It pulls, you know, really quite strong. And as you know, and as you've seen, I've gone over the bike fully. I have spoke to people about potentially changing the seats. You can get one of these and one of these for 70 quid in the yellow or kind of, but honestly guys, there's no point. It's a cheap bike. I have kept that panel green, absolutely sticks out. Let me show you, and that's fine. That's what I want. That's how I want it on this occasion. And I'll tell you why, because some of the underneath green is going to come out. It's going to scratch, it's going to rub up against things, the green's going to come out, and it's going to have that real interesting retro look. I'm going to get some kind of back to black for the plastics. They're just not shining up. You can use oils, but I'll get it back to black just to make sure it's proper. And that's it really. This bike, I've had it in my head, guys. This bike's going up for $650 with no offers. For a bike that starts on the button. I've got the logbook. It will have a year's MOT. It's going to be $650, no offers. First to come and buy it for $650 absolutely just gets to ride it away. Now, looking at the numbers on this bike, kind of why we talk about the seats and stuff. I can't remember what I bought it for. Was it, I think it was 280 plus the fan. I think it owed me 350. The MOT is 40 quid. That's 390. Some paint, let's go for 30. And what else? I feel like I've done other bits. Oh yeah, like the odd indicator and stuff. It probably owes me, let's say 450. So 650 is spot on. I could sell it a little bit more. I could probably put it up for 750, but there's no point. 650 is the right number with the seat like that. I'm going to show you the seat. It's a bit tough, it's a bit ripped. It's a shame. For 70 quid, that bit and that bit, it would just look stunning. But this bike, to an extent, doesn't need to look stunning. It starts, runs and rides and brakes, and all the buttons work. You can see the repairs I've done on the side panel there. They're better. They're better. If you remember, this chunk here came all the way out. All the way out. In fact, there was no... It was a massive hole there, wasn't it? And then there was another one down here somewhere. And even though you can see the kind of print there, it doesn't matter, it's not as bad. And then there was one here on the inside, all the way in. And again, I've just filled it enough. If you were really funny at this stage, you could use a silicone or something just to smooth that out. Just spray it in and run your finger along it. Same down here, but I'm not that bothered for the price. 650, years MOT, ride it away. Starts, runs and rides and brakes. And it's clean, you know, the oil's clean. I don't know if I changed the oil on this. I'm pretty sure I did drop the oil. I'll have to check my videos. So it's good. I'll update you guys, see if it passes the MOT in the morning. It's very low mileage, 7,100. Speedometer works, all the buttons work, everything works. Fuel gauge works. So it should be good to go. Let me know what you think in the comments. What's your thoughts on this bike? So it's a Chinese bike that was bought by a British company called Tamoretti, who tried their best to kind of service these bikes to a way that made them last longer. That was what their kind of theory was. Sometimes they changed top ends to the Honda Shadow equivalent. Sometimes they always changed brake pads, discs, and stuff like that. And they always changed all oils to good quality ones, which is what I tell you. Anyone who's bought a new Chinese bike, change the oils immediately to good quality ones. The bike will thank you so much for it, because it will still be alive in 5 years' time. The oil, the watery oil that they put in to get it off their production line is shocking. It's unbelievable. It's a quirky little one, this one. I'm pleased it's ready, guys. Rear tyre is brand new, which is good, and I got it to seat, which is amazing, because it was a right pain in the arse. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. I'll update you on the MOT. In fact, for me, it will be clicking my fingers like this. So here it is, guys. I'm just warming this bad boy up. This is it, do or die. That would be the choke dropping off. Just switch that off. Yeah, basically it's ready for an MOT. I'm going to check the fuel, because at the moment I'm relying on this fuel gauge working, but we don't actually know that, so I'm going to have a quick look at the fuel. And then that's it. I did all the checks the other day. It's now just about going there and getting it done and letting it pass or fail. Basically, it's not a huge issue either way, because then you know exactly what you have to do and take it back, you know, to get it done. It doesn't hurt to do your basic checks now again. Indicators, brake lights, horn, steering left to right. Check the suspension, bounce it around, make sure it's not overly bouncy. Make sure you've got your basics, a reflector on the back, that's one there. Your number plate light under there. And tyres are good, and your brakes have some bite left on them. That's kind of it. So yeah, I'm going to attempt to take this thing to MOT, and ideally it would pass. So guys, I hope you can hear me. I've got headphones on. The bike got me here, but it was a bit spluttery. I actually thought I ran out of fuel. In yesterday's video you saw that it wasn't kicking out much fuel, which was a bit weird. When you sucked on the pipe, sucking it didn't, you know, give a proper flow of fuel, it actually kind of was spitting. So I think there's more work to do on that. I mean, I'm sure I can nurse it home because I nursed it here, but we're gonna see. Let's see if it passes the basic. I mean, it has to bloody start for them, doesn't it? For it to pass an MOT. But let's see if it passes the basic MOT, and then I'll nurse it back, and then I'm going to have more work to do. It's not sellable when it's not running very well. Don't get me wrong, that bike hits 50 so quickly, and I'm quite a big guy. It hits 50 miles an hour quickly. It's the bottom end that doesn't seem right for me. So we'll look into that. Okay guys, so we're back from MOT and it passed with flying colours. They didn't bash this one. Normally they bash my Chinese bikes. They did say it's running bad, and it is. What's happening is it's starving itself of fuel, guys. So on the way back I had to stop every couple of minutes, let the kind of bowl fill up again, and carry on. But saying that, they didn't bash the bike, which is great. Honestly guys, it gets to 50 so quick. I think it will push 60. But of course it then starves itself because it's not getting enough fuel. We saw that yesterday. So I'm not willing to sell this bike at the moment. I need to break it back down. Ideally I need all of the panels off again, and I need to check the fuel tank for crap, check if there's a fuel filter that's blocked, check all the pipe work, make sure there's no splits, make sure the petrol pump is clean and pumping. I think it's a manual one. I think it's actually the same one that's on the Galera DNA that we'll be looking at soon, probably next week. But either way, it needs to pump fuel when you're running along and riding. So let's get down to that issue first, and let's turn the bike on and we'll see what's happening with the pump flowing issue. Okay, so this is the best fuel I can get you guys, right? So all you really need to know is that these are suction pipes. These go down to the mechanical fuel pump, which is down here. Let me see if I can get you to there. That's a mechanical fuel pump. It uses suction to pump fuel. So this is putting out air, this is putting out air. It goes to the pump, it spins the pump, and then the pump puts out petrol. Now the petrol comes out down here. There's the line there. So what we need to know is, if I suck on this pipe, does the fuel come out? So the answer is no at the moment, guys. Let me see if I can get you a slightly better angle there. One moment, there you go. Right, so, but this pipe kind of does respond to pulses. Watch. So it was kind of in, out, in, out, in, out of the air that was doing that. So when this is on here, like it was, and the engine's running, that should be pulsing out fuel. So this is easy to test. We'll start the engine. It's nice and warm. We'll fire us up and we'll see if the fuel here is pulsing out. So that's quite good so far, guys. But it hasn't been doing that much. So I don't know if these are playing up. I might have to check them for holes and check that they're actually fully sealed. So that is good. Let's go back to that. That's a fairly consistent. I'm going to hook this back up. I think it's kind of cleaned itself out almost on that. So that should pump in and fill the bike up. Okay, so that has sorted itself out. So I need to work out what changed. Maybe I'd kinked this off with the bucket. In fact, that is very possible because the bucket sits here, which means that would have to go there. So maybe I need to route these more carefully, maybe down like that, and then that's under the bucket. And what I'm going to do is give it another test run now, because like I said, on the run back from the MOT, it was very stuttery after a minute or two of riding, but I think that to me looks like it's normal. I'm going to fire it up and idle it a while. Oh, ignition on. Oh. I'm going to grab the GoPro and I'll adjust the idle. Let's get it idling nicely. There you go. So we want to make sure the battery's not spinning. Let me break it. But it needs to be idling enough for it to be consistently idling. Alright, so we're looking right. That's cool. Alright guys, let me grab the GoPro and we will go for a spin and see. I'll know guys, because it lasts a minute max until it starts stuttering and you have to stop. So I will know if the problem was the bucket was pressing on that and stopping it basically. I think that is the issue. So it definitely still did it. It definitely still had its weird stutter. It feels like fuel starvation because it runs so well on all throttle, quarter, half and full for the first minute, and then it loses all of its power, stutters under the first third, only really rides under full throttle, but doesn't seem like fuel starvation. We saw plenty fuel coming out earlier. So what would the next step for this bike be? I was really hoping to get this advertised this week, but this is a no-no at this stage. A new carb really guys, you know, it's 20 quid, 18 quid or something, and brand new, clean inside out. That would be absolutely the right thing to do, and then take it for another 5-minute spin and make sure that it's all okay. It could have an intermittent fuel fault, so yesterday we had weird fuel flow. I could pop it off again quickly and just check that we've still got that good flow. I'm sure we will though. But yeah, carb. Jake found a bunch of carbs last week. I'll have a little look. He might have stolen them, but I'll have a little look because I might be able to rebuild one using some of these parts and some of that. So I think it's definitely a carb issue. I've tried tuning the air fuel screw. It's practically out now. It's actually way too far out. I think it's a carb issue. Now, the good thing is, these carbs are cheap, 17, 18 quid. You buy a brand new one, it's cleaned inside and out. Everything's new. It makes sense. Always look at trying a new carb. If you've got one quite old like this, guys, 90% of the times it saves all the issues. At the moment, this bike is not happy on lower revs, but it's very happy on higher revs. Stally and lumpy on lower revs. That's quite clearly a carb issue. I'm going to have a quick look just in case, but I don't think I have any worth using again, because for 17, 18 quid I'd rather wait a week and sell a perfect running bike. Obviously you could buy a carb and that's not the issue. If that's not the issue, I'd be looking at spark plugs, checking that that's clean and it's sparking properly. But on this occasion, because it's got the top end and not the bottom, it kind of rules that out to an extent. Okay, it brings it back to it being either a fuel starvation issue, although the same rule applies there. We've got top end and not bottom, so that kind of takes that out as well. Bottom end carb, air fuel screw mixture. There's possibly one more under here. There's another cap at the bottom. I just think it needs a new carb. and it should be beautiful. It has its year's MOT now. I can wait another week. I am skint, but you know, I'd rather anyone who's been watching me a long time knows that I do not put out the bikes if I'm not happy with them, and I'm strict. So I'm not putting this bike out until I think it runs perfectly. So we'll push this aside for now. I'll have a look, just double check, make sure I haven't got any carbs in there that I can kind of build to from. Otherwise, yep, we'll get that ordered somehow and start on. Let's just have a little look at the ER5. Let's see where we are there. I'll tell you what my plan is with that. Okay guys, so I've got a spare carb that's identical. The problem for me is that I wouldn't have taken this out unless it was broken, but I'm gonna try it. I think I'm just gonna pop it on and try it just in case. I'll literally pull this one aside for now. I'll pull it aside. I don't need any throttle cable or anything. Or do I just take this off fully? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the effort for an old carb that's probably had it because I took it off for that same reason. This is the extra screw here, guys. That's another screw that they stop you messing with because it's about emissions. Normally you drill it out and there's one underneath, but we've got this one as well. I'm in two minds about this. Do I attempt it, chuck it on, or bin it? Let's have a little play, we might as well. Alright guys, so that's the kind of new, what would you call it? It's the Frankenstein carb in. So yeah, let's kind of prime it. The choke isn't connected at the moment because this is a butchered choke. I must have done something to it. Look, I put these leads on there, which is fine. I can do that again. But let's just see if it starts. Let's start with the basic. Let's see if it starts. We've got the fuel line in. We haven't got the suction lines. Right, where are you? We need 2 suction lines. So one down to here, of course. And then, where's the second one? Second one up to, actually, other way around. Smaller one down here, of course. Longer one up here. Let's just see what happens. I'll fire it up and we'll just see. Well, I'm not holding my breath because remember I took that carb off at another point for a reason. It's probably because it's no good anyway, you know. Fuel through. Alright.
You okay?
Yeah, good, you?
Fine, thank you. Winning?
Yeah, overall.
Thank you.
See ya. So I think we've had our play with that, guys. There's no point messing around with that old carb, and now I've killed the battery. That's my fault, it's on me. Let's get a carb ordered, nuts not to, and I'll chuck the battery on charge later today. Let's pop this in and pop out the ER5. Let's have a quick look at what I'm thinking about in regards to that bike.